Okay, 1 second till the results of Google Kickstart. And I think I won. I hope that the stream is running. Let's see, yeah, looks like everything is fine. I have chat on the site as well. So I think I'm ready to go. Hello, everybody. I had a very, very busy day today. For a moment, my face can be bigger. I prepared a lecture on randomized algorithms that I will edit and prepare to maybe upload in 2 days. I participated in Leetcode contest. Do you hear me? Yeah, you should hear me. I participated in Kickstart contest. Then during Kickstart, then was Leetcode, and I was quick enough to participate in both. And as you can see, Kickstart was quite well for me. I won by 2 seconds. Congratulations for Cerberus as well. And I must say that actually the Radeusz deserves the win, because he told me that he started like 10 minutes after the start, and I believe him. I was slow here with 24 minutes, and if somebody on this level is fast, it should take around 15. So, you know, Radeusz deserves the win, kind of, but well, he was late. Hello everybody in the chat. I will not be able to reply to everybody today. I will quickly take a look. Congrats on securing second place. Thank you, Ed, but I didn't get the second place. After I was done, I had third place, I think. Cerberus was fourth, and then Radeusz fifth or sixth. But apparently, like, one person I saw resubmitted, so lost time, and somebody else apparently got wrong answer or whatever. I was quite scared because when I posted, I think in Codeforces, that I'm currently third in Kickstart, one of organizers of Kickstart told me in priv, haha, that's funny. What of course could mean everything. Well, he knew that I already finished. The plan for today is first talk about Kickstart and just a little bit about Leetcode contest, but mostly Kickstart. I will go through solutions to each of those 3 problems, plus maybe just a little bit more about my participation today. It was first time that I tried participating without the microphone on, and then after the contest my goal is to add some commentary. I did the same with Leetcode, and I already uploaded that to YouTube. Thanks all for congratulations. When did you stream this? I didn't stream Kickstart, I recorded. So I have video, I can show you. I think there is nothing confidential here. You can see file collaboration with Gorev, that I will talk more in a few days. So what do we have? We have Kickstart. And I have here 30-minute video where I didn't talk through while coding, but then talked some for the last few minutes, the first minute. I will upload that to YouTube later. How ranking is done? First by score, then by time. You can read the rules. So let's go over quickly the problems. Oh yeah, I started with the plan for today. Kickstart first, talk about solutions to each of 3 problems. Then a moment about Leetcode, where I was like top 30, top 40, something like that. I did everything quickly, just a lot of wrong submissions. Plus some very, very ugly bug related to C++ casting, where I wasted a few minutes. Then I think I will upsolve Codeforces problems, those from Tourists Round. I've read some of them during the contest. I couldn't participate just from my phone. For example, I've read C, because it looked like it took a lot of time to some people, like Shwistak. And then we'll see. I think the stream will be around 2 hours. So first book reading. Oh, you will later see during my screencast, the recording, that I first didn't read the problem correctly. Plus, let me decrease my face. That's better. There is an ancient book with n pages. Since the book is too old, unfortunately, n pages. Oh, one more thing. I will turn on the recording of what I'm doing right now as well, so that later maybe parts of this stream I will add as commentary to that Kickstart video. Is Python 3 good for competitive coding? Yes, it's fine, but C++ is much better because it's more efficient, it's faster. Okay, I'm recounting that as well. So first problem, book reading. There is an ancient book with n pages, from 1 to n. Unfortunately, n pages are turned out. We are given their indices. M and n are up to 100,000. There will be also 100,000 kind of queries, not real queries. And the if reader will only read pages that are numbered multiples of Ri and not torn out. And let's take a look at my code. When I read R, what I do is I iterate over multiples of R. Like I do I is equal R, then I plus equal R. Can I increase that? Yeah, that will be better. Their editor is bad. And if this is not bad, where bad is an array of Boolean values, I increase the answer by 1. Initially, I coded here R because I thought they asked for the sum of pages, but they mean 1. And then I increased the total answer because we are asked for the sum of that. And this would be quadratic, because if R is 1, then iterating over multiples of R here is linear, O of n, and doing that q times would be O of n times q. I will grab something for drawing. One moment. So that would be O of n times q if everywhere we would have here R equal to 1. But we add just memoization. I say if answer is not -1 here, then just use this answer of R. And here set to 0 and just use it, calculate. After this point, now answer of R is already calculated. And the very important thing is, if you iterate over multiples of 1, then multiples of 2, 3, and so on, you will get complexity n over 1 plus n over 2 plus n over 3 plus and so on, up to n plus over n. And this sum is something very well known and, for example, used in prime sieve. And this is O of not n times q, this is O of n log n. And this should be very, very obvious for you if you want to be fast and good in competitive programming. So that's the complexity. I think I didn't have troubles getting that accepted. We can take a look at the leaderboard. It took me, 336, which sounds quite right for this problem. Then the equation, C or C++, C++ is more modern. I will sometimes answer comments. Will you upload this on your second channel? No, this is my main channel. Okay, second problem, the equation. We're given integers AI, an array of integers. We want to choose such k that the sum over AI XOR k is smaller or equal m. And then if that is satisfied, maximize k. Well, if XOR is in the problem, then for sure we should look at bits. This was obvious for me. Here AI is up to 10 to 15, so for sure I will iterate over bits from 0 to 50, or the other way around, because 10 to 15 is around 50 bits. And if you want to have as big value of k as possible and you care about bits, then first I will try to choose the biggest bit of k to be 1 if possible, because then it's biggest. But it's very good to first solve an easier version of a problem, and here that would be, can we just at all achieve that? Can we get the sum of over AI? I will for a moment hide the code. Can we make the sum of AI to be smaller or equal than m? Not sum of AI, sum of AI XOR k. smaller or equal m. And for that, I looked at every bit of AI. Then I saw, let's say that we have some, this is one number AI, this is second number AI, third number AI. If at some position I see 1, 1, 0, then I know in K, if I choose 1 there, if I choose this number in K as 1, then it will XOR out with this one, and only it will leave 1 for this one. And then the answer, I mean, this sum will be minimized. So first, just set every bit of K to that bit that is more common among 0 or 1. This way we check for this inequality, whether it's satisfied or not. Then, what happens then? We want to maximize K. If from this we got K that is we got the inequality that is satisfied, I mean this one, so we got such K that the sum on the left is minimized. After that we want to maximize K, still making the inequality satisfied. And for that I went with bits from most important one to the least important one, and whenever in K, let's say that K was 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, whenever I had 0 in K, I considered switching that to 1, and I took a look whether then inequality wouldn't hold, because I looked at the number of here bits 1 and 0, so I knew if I switch this bit of K from 0 to 1, how much the sum over XORs will increase, and if that exceeds m, I do nothing, otherwise I switch a bit. And the code will be now on the right. Can I maximize that? Can I make that full screen? No, I think not. So what after reading? Oh, I was here not careful enough, and I could get wrong answer because of it. I iterated with bit from 52 instead of 50, and 52, 2 to the 52 is around 4 times 10 to 15. But when I get this 2 to bit, which is 4 times 10 to 15, and this times n almost overflows long. I should have used here 50. But yeah, iterate with bits from the biggest one. Then count was supposed to count bits in array A that is given, that are on, the ones on this position. And then to the sure, that represents what is the minimum possible value of this sum over AI XOR K. This bit times minimum of count and n minus count. Like if n is 10 and there are 2 ones and 8 zeros, then I can choose such a bit that only 2 bits here, 2 XORs will have 1 here. And then I again go through bits. This is ugly copy paste from above. Also it should be 50 because for bigger n I could get overflow at some moment, overflow of long logs. And then in some complicated way that I fixed during a contest, I thought, okay, if previously I have something like this 2 to bit times minimum over count comma n minus count, then now I could switch from this to 2 to bit times the bigger of those. So let's say to n minus c because this is bigger and here c was bigger, then just the difference of those is potential addition to what? This is potential addition to my variable already. I said that already is that previous sure, and I kept increasing already if that still didn't exceed m. At the end, if already is still smaller or equal m, so it wasn't messed up at the very beginning, print best, which is k basically. Why your code looks so complicated? Because I didn't think too much about making it nice during a contest. Instead, I wrote something, I saw that, okay, I need to add this difference, so a variable hack was introduced, that was the previous contribution to this sum, so it's ugly because I care about time during the contest. What is 50-bit? Well, this is the number of bits, like in a number. Like if you have binary number 1101, you can number those bits from 0 to something to something, right? Basically, if number is 110, so this is number 6, I think 2 plus 4, then I say that this is index 0, index 1, index 2, and so on. Iterate over bits of a number. Yep, so that was it. And I was a bit worried when after the contest I went through the problems. I was a bit worried here about some overflow or maybe missing like 1 LL. If here I wrote just in C++ 1 shifted binarily by bit, that is up to 50, which means multiply 1 by 2 to the bit. This makes a power of 2. Then this would overflow. I need LL, but I was lucky enough. And actually this is very well optimized play because I won by 2 seconds. So, you know, every second was important. And also I won because Radeusz was late to the contest and Cerberus made one incorrect attempt. He finished in 20 minutes, not in 24, but one more wrong incorrect submission in second problem, here he got wrong answer, costed him +4 time penalty. Sure is the minimum possible sum, so just checking if it not exceeding m would work for -1, or is there any other condition? Yes, you're right. I could check if sure is smaller or equal m before, and then -1 is never possible. It's just that I had a different flow during the contest. This question is valid and the answer is yes, it's enough. Can you explain your algorithm by going through one of the sample inputs? Okay, let's do it. How Cerberus became some good in programming. Guess what? He practiced. Hello, math buddies. Welcome. How is Cerberus with Radeusz? First of all, contests are randomized a bit. Second is that, as I said, Radeusz was late to the contest. Oh, I didn't want that. Okay, let's go. Let's analyze the example. What do we have in the input? N and M. And then N numbers. So the numbers are 8, 4, and 2. Those are the numbers from the input, and now M is 27. What sounds like a very stupid test, or is it not? Maybe not. Okay. Now I want to count the minimum possible value of that sum of XORs, and I will set bits of k in just any order. Here, for the first bit, for the 0th bit, I see that, so this one, I see that there are a lot of zeros, so in k I should put 0 here, because then the sum of XORs from that is just 0. Here I should put 0 as well, and then I get the XOR of those two, which is already 2. Like sure is 2 plus. Here 0 as well, because then I get just one XOR with this one, so plus 4. Then with this one it's 8, so sure is 14, it doesn't exceed m. And then one by one in this order, I try to modify the bits. So from 0, I wonder if I can change this to 1. If I change to 1, then instead of this thing, I will get XOR with this digit and this digit. I mean, the XOR with those two numbers will be increased by 8. Everything written here is in binary format. So instead of here 8, I will have 16. So this is not sure, this is now already in my code. And from 14, I now have 22, I think. Then similarly, I want to change this one into 1, and this 4 is changed into 8, so already is 26. And then I see that this next bit I cannot change, because that would change 2 into 4. The difference in the sum from changing this bit from 0 to 1 would increase the sum from 26 to 28. This is not allowed because it exceeds m. So I do not make this change. Get back. And then I also check the last bit. But it turns out that 1100 is the best number I can get. So that's it about this problem. And now the last one will be shifts. Okay, in shifts. First the statement maybe. Problem shifts, the last one in Kickstart, is there are 2 guards in a museum. Their job consists of n shifts. During each shift, at least one of the 2 guards must work. So either both of them, 3 options, both of them, only A, only B. I made a mistake first during the contest that I thought that exactly one of them. I started implementing just easy brute force solution. Because here n is up to 20, what immediately means, oh, maybe bit masks, maybe something with 2 to the n. For the ith shift, A will gain this much happiness if he works during this shift. B would gain this much happiness, and both guards should have at least h happiness in total. How many out of those 3 to the n possible assignments result in both guards being happy? That is, the sum of their happiness should be h. N is up to 20. There is also a small subtask, but I don't worry about it too much. Of course, the intended solution for this one would be just O of 3 to the n, maybe times n, where you write, I think this is not required, write a recursive solution that tries every option, like either A or B or both, keeps track of the sum of happiness of first and second person. At the end, when you get into the last shift, if both happiness are satisfied at this age, then increase the answer by 1. But it is too slow for the big thing. And here, one of my thoughts was to do something with bit masks as well. Like it would be sum over subset of some masks. Like I would maybe iterate over those shifts where they both work, or where A works, and maybe B, maybe not. And then for the remaining mask, I would ask about something after pre-processing. But I decided to go because, well, for small constraints, if this is almost enough, then you should consider meet in the middle. And I decided to go with this complexity, 3 to n over 2, maybe times something. Like I think I had n here. What is fast enough? And what it means, I split the input into 2 parts. For each of them, I brute force all the possibilities. So let's say we have 4 shifts, or maybe 5. I don't need to split equally. So split into 2 roughly equal parts. For each of them, consider all 3 to n over 2 possibilities. And then you need to combine them. For each possibility, for each scenario, you have a pair that is happiness of one person, let's say A, and B, happiness of the second person, the same here. And then for 2 sets of pairs, so this is a long set of pairs of size 3 to n over 2, and this is another set of pairs. You need to count those combinations, one set from one set, and one pair from one set and one from the other, such that the sum of A is at least h, the sum of B is at least h. This will mean both guards will be happy. And this is a standard problem. Why? Because things like that should immediately look like a segment tree, for example, because we are given some points and they should match each other. It looks like sweeping, and I did use sweeping. An easier problem would be from one set of points, x, y, maybe let's call it S1 instead of A. What do I want to do? Okay, S1. There is X, Y, and so on. There's second set. Count pairs that look like one pair from this one and one from the second one, such that x1 is smaller equal x2 and y1 is smaller equal y2. This is very, very standard, where you should imagine those as points of two types, let's say blue and red. Use a sweep line. I think I swept from right to left. And if you want to count such pairs that, let's say that red is here and blue is above and on the right, then what happens is go with sweep line from right to left. Every time when there is blue point, add 1 at that point in segment 3. And when there is red, so when sweep line is here, then you need to count from this suffix the number of added points, blue points that were here. This actually counts the number of blue points in this quarter of a plane. And it's easy with segment 3. Here we have slightly modified task because we ask for such pairs that x1 plus x2 is greater equal h, but I modified that what did I do? I said that this is equivalent to x1 greater equal h minus x2, and I defined this as, so instead of that I have x2 prime, and then this is exactly the same condition as the one I described with a sweep line. And so something like this works in the number of points times logarithm. I'm still learning this drawing above the screen. No. Yeah, I realized during the contest that I need to they can both be in a shift, because first I implemented something stupid. This is a recursive function that works in 3 to n. I used it to, it considers all three possibilities. The first one should take this happiness, second one takes this happiness, both take happiness, and then I gather two vectors of points L and R, like left and right, like for each half. This is 3 to n over 2 and 3 to n over 2. Then I gather them together in vector of events, where I make this transformation into h minus something and h minus something, like in the formula that I wrote. I have events. For me, event is a struct of type x, y, coordinates of points, and type, either red or blue, point or query. And then I sort that by x and y, so basically sweep line. I also do coordinate compression somewhere here. Value, I gather all the values into a vector. I sort this vector, and then I do unique on them, what removes adjacent neighbors. Then I have a function that is able to binary search a number on this vector, and basically what happens is, if I had, let's say, numbers 5, 50, and 27, 26, 26, and 80, this will be converted into 0, 2, 1, 1, 3. Basically, from it is converted into numbers from 0 to some small value, n, or 2 times n. Then I build segment tree over that. I have a tree, and in this sorted order, I already sorted events. I have two types. In one type, I add to the tree. In the other, I read from interval in a tree. Then print the answer. Remember that it should be long. What's up in the chat? $248 people watching live. That's very nice. Also, I will use that to promote the second channel, Erichto2, where I think tomorrow I will make some boring stream. In links in the description, you should be able to find my second channel, and I stream more there. Now I have time. I'm not sick anymore because I had a flu for like 1 week recently. I will do some boring programming tomorrow. But now, after a short break for answering comments, I will move to Leetcode and then Codeforces problems. Why you write debug, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about my templates. Generally, I have something convenient so I could print what vector contains or a map. It's very inconvenient in C++ by default. You need to iterate in special way, or even how to print pairs. You can't print a pair with cout or print. Will you be doing this for all Kickstarts? That would be really beneficial to us. When I have time. Last Kickstart, I think last Leetcode I wanted to participate but I didn't have time, and last Kickstart I did very terribly, but I tried to comment during the contest, what slowed me down a lot. I like what I did today, where I turned off my microphone and then just added commentary, just like in my Leetcode video that you can already see on my channel. Some good books. Read frequently asked questions in description for questions like that. Can you elaborate on the second approach? You can read a tutorial. Maybe there is one. Let's see. They hide it, I think, here. Analysis. Hidden, blah, blah, blah. What do they have? Yeah, they have the same probably complexity as me. I think there is some over subset approach, but this one was easier for me. So I did it. I don't know the other one, but I think it is possible to solve this problem in complexity 2 to the n. Did you take this geometry approach because it's easier for you to think as geometry? My choice was to use meet in the middle. After that, it was exactly geometry. I mean, well, sweeping. I have no idea how you got the idea to solve the first problem so easily. Because I saw similar stuff. If you solved already 1,000 problems, you will be faster solving next problems. How do you do? Thank you for this question. I'm very fine. I greet the Italy back. Also, shout out to Sweden and to Egypt, because for some reason those two countries have very high average view time in my channel. So Sweden, Egypt, you are very good. You're very cool. Blah, blah, blah. For the third problem, a straightforward n square dp can be set up right. I don't know how. I doubt it. How can I start competitive programming? Go to any platform with competitive programming and start solving problems. Also read FAQ in description. Can't we do that in Bitmask? As I said, maybe. Why are you so smart? I don't know. Are you a sport programmer? Yes, I guess so. Okay. And the break is over. Now it's time for some Leetcode recap. I'm not very good with Leetcode. I'm new there. I spammed with my video here, even after the contest. I got 40th place, solved all problems in 20 minutes, while the winner, I think, needed 12? Yeah, 13 plus time penalty. I had a lot of mistakes there, like something I was not careful, plus there was one that was very, very tricky. But yeah, congratulations to people in the top. I guess top 3 have very nice times here, below 20 minutes. It was possible to solve it in 13 minutes, but it was just very hard, and you shouldn't make a lot of mistakes for that. So what can I say about this contest? There is already my video about them. Maybe I can talk about something, one of those two harder problems. This is very standard DP, and this is hard to talk about. So maybe just an easy standard problem for you. You have some coins. The ith coin has a probability prob of I of facing heads when tossed, otherwise tails. Return the probability that the number of coins facing heads equals target if you toss every coin exactly once. that is given this array of probabilities, count the probability that exactly this many events out of them will happen. What happens? Oh. And then if you have that sequence of probabilities, after we consider some prefix, obviously what is important is how many heads you already tossed, like the count of heads. So I made that to be my dimension of dp. The number of heads can be up to n. And then from dp of I, from dp of I to some prefix till the next prefix, I can move to either dp of I plus 1 with probability p of I, or p of I plus 1, or to dp of I. Maybe I is not the best name. Wait, I have an eraser here. The better name would be h, like heads. So h plus 1, h. And this is a working solution. So for each prefix, n, let's say, is the length, I iterate over the number of heads already, which is up to this prefix size, which is basically also n. That is n squared. Yep, and my solution is here, where I create an array of size n dp with doubles, float point values. Then iterate over p in the input, create a temporary new array dp2, the first filled with zeros, also initialized. This means for empty prefix we have 0 heads, probability 1, 1.0. And then iterate over this. Here I could just say up to prefix size, but I is this number of heads. And I think this is easier to understand. dp of h plus 1, from this state we will go to the number of heads bigger by 1 with probability p. Otherwise, with 1 minus p, to the same number of heads will remain. At the end, return dp of target, because we are asked about exactly that. So that's about Leetcode contest, I guess. Some lessons for me from this contest are to test on samples, because by default only first sample is tested, and at least I think 2 incorrect attempts I would avoid with that, and I wouldn't waste much time on it. And like here I think I got mistake in second sample test, and here no, so here I wouldn't avoid it. 1 incorrect attempt I could avoid by copy pasting and testing on examples. Also, why I need to scroll down? Isn't there here retrieve, reset default, code editor settings? I thought there is an option to put editor on the right, but I don't see it. It was very inconvenient to scroll, up and down. Is it up to date? I saw those comments before. Can we do third problem using binary search, meet in the middle technique? Can we do third problem using binary search? Which third problem where? In Leetcode? No. In Kickstart? No. How to tackle with DP? Solve DP problems. You have solved 1,000 problems? Yes. I think more than 2,000. It is possible in contest only. Okay, thanks. But how? Is there a button that I missed during the contest? Do I need to do that in the first second of the contest to have, it's very convenient to have statement on one side and editor on the other, not to scroll up and down. It saves a lot of time and frustration. Just my opinion. I think C++ is much better for competitive programming than Python, because Templates are nice, multi-set speed. That's all true. With that said, problems with huge integers are much easier to do with Python, unless you can copy-paste the code, and then you can do some big integers in C++. Also, Python have a lot of libraries. I don't know what is there. Some fractions, you know, rationals. And as I promised, then we are moving to Codeforces. So in Codeforces, I'm going to do some live coding now. So what do I want to do? Oh, I can first see if there is anything here. I should spam here with my live stream, but that's all fine now. Contests. I'm not going to do virtual participation because I already saw a lot of those problems. Like I for sure read C, and I'm still not sure about my solution. I should have asked my friends what I should do, what is cool here. I will not go for very hard problems because then I would sit here for half an hour not talking at all. So I guess I will just do a prefix of problems. Something easy, commenting about solutions. That sounds fine. Yes, DP means dynamic programming. Which code editor should I use? Whatever is convenient for you. It's not important. Oh, I hate those constraints. Why would anybody use that? Why send not up to 10,000, 1,000, million, whatever, not 13,845? Okay, what do we have? There was a round with n participants. The expected rating change of participant I is AI. Their sum is equal to 0. The round is semi-rated. All rating changes must be divided by 2. There are two conditions. One is that every number must be changed to itself over 2, either floor or ceiling. So 15 will be changed to 7 or 8. And the modified rating changes must be perfectly balanced. Their sum must be equal to 0. Now, if I have, let's say, 8, 5, minus 5, and minus 3, I guess I should change that to 4, minus 2, and minus what? Minus 2 again. So this I rounded in one way, this in the other. If I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, and some minus whatever, then I will just round this to this. I round down, half I round down, then 1, this one I round up, then I don't choose anything for even number, whatever. That sounds pretty balanced. Input for numbers 10. Also, I don't like the fact that numbers are in different lines. I would prefer them to be in one line, but this is just maybe not OCD, but I don't like how this statement looks like. Do you participate in Honor Cup? Was that some Codeforces contest? I don't remember. I guess not. I don't know. There was an Topcoder 2 today. You may wish to take a look if you have time. I don't think it was a grand contest, so I'm fine. Okay. And Tourist Round I want to check out because, well, he's one of the best people in the world, well, the best in the world of competitive programming, so his problems might be interesting. Okay, I'm going to alternately round down and up, and that should work, I guess. 10 minus 5, this I round to 5, then this to minus, let's say 2, then this one in the other way, minus 3. Okay, I have here my environment. Copy procpp to what? I want to separate directory. Let's call it what? Stream, maybe tourist. templates cpp, copy templates cpp, cpp. Okay. Read the input. And then just while n minus minus, this repeats something n times. X, read x. If x modulo 2 is 0, then just print it divided by 2. Else, if I need some boolean flag, is whatever, false. X is x over 2. This rounds towards 0. This will round down. So if flag x plus plus, flag is not flag, and print x. I will now round what? Down, up, down, up, down, up. A 3, 10 minus 5 minus 5. It worked here. Oh. Let's save to file. Minus 4, 14. Minus 28, minus 32. If it's 0, let's try submitting. This is in Camille and tourist. Maybe those numbers from constraints are real data, but no, all the problems in contests like that are just created with random generators, not necessarily completely random, but it's not that somebody copied it from a file from production. How much time you have taken to become that good in competitive coding? Read FAQ. Could you clarify why you did x shifted by 1 rather than x over 2? In C++, dividing by 2 and shifting by 1 are slightly different because of what will happen here. Let's print x over 2 and let's print x shifted by 1. It printed minus 2 and minus 3 because division by 2 rounds not down, it rounds towards 0, while this just, removes 1 bit, which is always rounding down. And I wanted it to be consistent for positive and negative numbers. So if you deal with negative, you must be careful about division by 2 or by anything. C++ doesn't round division down by default. It rounds towards 0. So yeah, and thanks for a good question. How to master bit masks? Practice bit masks. B. Balanced tunnel. There are n cars numbered from 1 to n. They enter and exit the tunnel. Blah, blah. There are 2 cameras, one at the front and one at the back, so at the entrance and exit. The order in which the cars entered and exited the tunnel is known. Traffic regulations prohibit overtaking inside the tunnel. If car I overtakes any other car J inside the tunnel, car I must be fined. Formally blah blah blah. I guess I don't need formally, this sounds fine. Find the number of cars that must be fined. So with this order and this order, I need to find for sure. Wait, the first one is the order. Okay, so number 5 here entered as second one. And then exited as fifth one, but for sure, what 4 overtook a lot of people. So for sure, 4 is one of those that should be counted, and also somebody else. Okay, 2 overtook 5, because 2 has 5 on the left, and now 5 is on the right. So everybody that was before you before must be now also before you. So I will say that for sure it's possible to be solved in with segment tree, but if I go over them in this order from left to right, and then here in the second array I mark where they are, so 3 is here, 5 is here, then the fact that everything must be on the left of 2 when I insert 2 here, I just want this to be greater index. This should be on the right from those 2 indices. So if for 3 I know where it is in the second array, for 5 I know where it is in the second array, I will keep track of rightmost index out of those. And then if next thing, 2, is even more to the right, it's fine, it didn't overtake anything. And does it make sense? I think it does. I will upload codes that I write now to the GitHub repository. Copy templates CPP to BCPP. I need to, when reading the input, I will decrease every number by 1. Just to work with things from 0 to n-1. Not that it's very important, actually it might make it harder to debug stuff, because numbers from the input and those that your program works with are different. And now I need inverse b of, so kind of where b of bi is I. Answer is 0, at the end print answer. For everything in A, int rightmost is -1. I is where in B this number is. If I is bigger than rightmost, then it didn't overtake. But if it's smaller than rightmost, then answer plus plus, else rightmost is I. Does it work? Oh, something is wrong. Oh, I didn't decrease by 1. Save this input. It's 2, correct. 6, and this should be 0. Maybe I can check n equal 1. Is it possible? No, n is at least 2. So let's submit. I meant maybe, oh, 13. I understand. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, still, it's ugly to use it in the contest, but well, I'm the one being stupid here. I didn't think that this might be maximum number of people that participated ever. Maybe it was the sorry. Maybe it was the number of registered people for this contest. Let me find out 138. Yeah, so it was max so far. Then, okay, I'm sorry, Gennady. It makes some sense, but still it's ugly. And this, I guess, is indeed max and min rating. What is nice? Okay, I didn't understand. I was stupid. Sorry. You and Tadeusz are from the same university? Yes, you can check that in Codeforces easily. From University of Warsaw. Now problem C, that has two versions. N is up to 2000 and here N is up to 50,000. And I've read this problem already. I got some idea for a solution. I don't know if it works. We are given n points in 3 dimensions. You'd like to remove all n points using a sequence of n over 2 snaps. In one snap, you can remove any 2 points AB that have not been removed yet and form a perfectly balanced pair. That means nothing is in between them in their bounding box. There's a drawing in the bottom when there are those 6 points, 1, 4, 3, 6, 5, 2. You can, this is in 2 dimensions. You can remove 3 and 6 because nothing is in this bounding box, in the rectangle, surrounding them. Then remove, for example, this one and this one. So my first idea was for sure incorrect, where I would just sort points by X, then by Y, then by Z, and pair them up this way. So if, let's say, this is first point, let me think about a counterexample. Then this one, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 6. Because if I take 1 and 2 is fine, this doesn't contain anything else, it's removed now, but 3, 4 contains a 5. So that's bad. This was my first idea. My second one, which I don't know if it's correct or not, is to sort points again by, maybe, can I get back? Yeah, I can. To sort points by coordinate, but not pair them up like this necessarily, but work with their exact coordinates. Like point 1 is here, let's say 0, 0. Point 2 is, I don't know, 1, 1. Then 2, 5. 4 is 1, comma, not 1, 4, comma 1, then 4, comma 3, and then point number 6 is 5, comma 5 or 6. Okay, this corresponds, I think, to this drawing, more or less. And my idea was that I should pair up numbers that have long prefix. If in 2 dimensions, that would be first pair up those that have the same x coordinate, 1 by 1. And I would use a stack to implement that. And I want to do the same in 3 dimensions. And I thought about it for a moment, and I don't know if it works or not. No, this is not. Sorry, as I said, I'm learning this software to draw. Okay. But it's very nice. I can move stuff around even after printing. Sort first Z, then Y, then X. This is not a fix to my wrong solution because, it's symmetric. It's not that coordinate X is different from Z. If something doesn't work in 2 dimensions, then it doesn't work in 3 dimensions because 1 dimension I could set all to 0. Okay, copy templates to CCPP. By the way, I don't want the full solution from you in the chat because well, there is an editorial. It has some solutions for sure. I'm just trying to come up with something myself. And for this one, I don't see a counter example, but I'm going to code it, and then if it's accepted, then it works. If not, then it will be very easy to see counter example because I will get some test. If it works, I will think about some proof of complexity, but greedy solutions are sometimes hard to prove. So what do I do? N, read N. Let's say every point will be a vector of size 3. Let's call them points. For every point in points, P resize 3, read P of I. That will read 3 coordinates. Then sort. Oh, I need to print the order, which means that ID is needed as well. This is points of I. P.id is I plus 1. Now they have IDs from 1 to n. And even after sorting, they will keep having IDs. I need some comparator to be able to sort. Return two vectors can be compared with C++, just like, for example, strings. He.x, he.y, he.z. This sorts lexicographically. Let's see if it compiles. Something is very wrong. What is wrong? No member ID. Okay, because this should be points. Which compiler is this? I guess you're asking about editor. Read FAQ. Come on. No resize. P dot and what? Because there is nothing like that. Now I want to say P.x, P.y, them, and P.y and P.z. Okay, they are sorted. Now I want to first pair up those that how do I want to do it? I will say here remaining, I guess. For P in points, if not remaining empty, so remaining works kind of like a stack. I think it could be a stack. If not remaining empty and remaining back dot x and dot y, maybe I will create some same of p, then print p.id remaining back, here also back dot id remaining pushback, popback, remove the last element from a stack, otherwise remaining pushback p, and that should take the last element out of remaining if it has the same x and y. Turn make pair x y is equal make pair he dot x he dot y. Okay. Should I do the same with other coordinates? What if one coordinate is the same? Then maybe I also want to prioritize that. That's very hacky. I'm getting a feeling that this solution isn't correct. let's try one more thing. What here? Points is remaining clear. Copy paste. Very ugly, don't do it unless you're a professional. And here just compare x with he.x. And then combine everything else in pairs. A is remaining of I, B is remaining of I plus 1, print they are this. So here I matched by x, here by x and y. Print to file, C on in9. Oh, I print too many things. Is that possible? Else. It should be else. Else. Let's see if it works for the sample. 2.6 is correct, 5.4 is correct, 1.3 is correct. Okay, and the second one, I will just see if the number of lines of the output is fine. You can notice that I'm saving everything to in9 just because I don't want to overwrite what I have from the contest. Or what? Oh no. Oh, I thought that I'm in the same directory as some old contest. Never mind. Okay, let's try to submit. I'm very uncertain. Maybe I will keep adding some hacks for that, or maybe I will move on to the next problem if it fails. If something runs a long time, then it might be wrong answer, because then Codeforces runs the test again. Well, it passed 15 tests, so it isn't that stupid. Okay, what's up in the chat? Genie setup for Windows, please. Yes, it's quite complicated because I'm emulating Ubuntu, so it wasn't easy for me to set up. I guess I will do a video on that in the future. Maybe I will buy a new PC in a month, and then while setting everything up, I will also record the process. What software are you using to draw on the screen? It looks cool. It's called G-Ink. I need to add that to FAQ. Read answer of C1 and C2. Did you get the link? Did I? Maybe in the past. Sorry. I'm not reading everything. Test 42. It wasn't tough though, or tough. First, think how it will work in 2 dimensions and everything at the same y can form maximum blah blah blah. I'm not sure if this is answer to me or not. Maybe okay, so let's do it this way. If you have a question to me, then tag me, like here. I guess it will be at Ericto. Hello, Volsmile. How are you, man? And again, I don't know if it's to me or not. How do you think about meme CS? Why did drop it? I think I replied to that already. Maybe it is in FAQ. No, it passed in half a second. Cool. During my university, I met interesting people and I did a lot of interesting subjects. This is more than enough. This is what you should get from university. Balanced playlist. Could you please do a lecture on backtracking? Maybe one day, but it's not a priority. Is there any interview prep compilation of Codeforces problems? Codeforces isn't good for coding interview preparation. You got new message on Codeforces, it is seen in video. Yeah, so what? I mean, I have 12 new messages. Including 10 that are very, very far away, that it's hard for me to find them, and because of them, all the time you will see new messages. It will always be like that. Maybe 100,000 or 1,000,000 subscribers, I will read my messages. Do you think with the same speed during actual contest? I don't need to explain anything. So you can see, for example, Leetcode or Kickstart video. Okay. There is a playlist. This is problem D, balanced playlist from Codeforces Global Round 5. Your favorite music streaming platform has formed blah blah blah. N tracks numbered from 1 to N. Playlist is automatic and cyclic. So it's a circle. There is coolness AI. You choose a track. At any moment, you remember the maximum coolness X of already played tracks. If you hear a track with coolness strictly less than X over 2, so maximum 1 so far over 2, you turn off the music immediately to keep yourself in a good mood. Okay, so just in short, there is a circle of numbers, and for every start, I want to know how far away I will go, where if maximum so far is something, let's say here it was 70, and then here I see a new number that is smaller than half of that, say 34, then I stop here. For every start I need to stop. That looks like binary search or 2 pointers. Would 2 pointers work? No, it will not. Or maybe. If from here I end there, then from here I will get there or closer. So I will get a new number, say 14. Then I'm looking for the first number that is smaller than that, first number smaller than 7. And I minimize this border, this end, with the position of that number. Sounds fine. -1 if you will be listening to music indefinitely. Okay. I think that is correct idea for a solution. So this is copy templates to DCPP. Read the input. Also, you can see the standings of any Codeforces contest or Kickstart or whatever, and you can see other people in the top, how fast they solve problems like that. It takes around 5 minutes. 1 minute for reading, seconds for thinking about the solution, and then implementing. Sometimes you, of course, get unlucky with a bad idea or just being stuck. An important advice: if you have something in a circle, it's very useful to double it. So I will do this. Now, instead of having, let's say, sequence 475, I have 475, 475. Then I can use 2 pointers with some start, and end will be up to n positions to the right. I don't need to care about this being a circle. Okay. I will first say when I end, when this is the start. When this is the start, I will figure out some end, like maybe this is first bet because this is 1. So this is first bet. I will call that as E, like end. And then for this new start, I will find with binary search or something like that, maybe a segment tree minimum, the next number smaller than half of that. Okay. So start is n minus 1 and is minus 1. And now do this. Also, I need to save the answer, because at the end I want to print it. For x in answer, maybe not. No, easy version would be that, but what I want answer to be is that first bad thing. So actually, and the question is, I guess, how many songs, how many tracks you will listen to. So that is answer of I minus I, but if answer of I is I plus n, then print minus 1. Can I print in new lines? I guess I could, but let's try to follow their format. And new line here. Puts basically is a print, but also gives you a new line. First step is find answer of n minus 1, and then second step is find answer of n minus 2, answer of n minus 3, and so on. From start n minus 2, start greater equals 0, minus minus start. Did you add terminal to your Genie? There is such a feature in Genie, depending on its version. You can Google terminal, Genie terminal. In this version of Genie, I think I have something like that. Genie minus V. No, I didn't want that. Man Genie. Minus version. Minus version. In Genie 1.34.1 there is terminal, and in a lot of other versions. Okay, back to the problem. For this start, I want to say maybe answer of start is answer of start minus 1 plus 1. If answer of start is greater than start, maybe minimum of this and start plus n, you can't go further than that. If you can play the next n tracks, then you can keep playing forever. Can you? No, it is not true. Oh. I need to do that twice. Also, there's a mistake here. It should be a of I. Now it's tripled. Plus, okay, so this was 415, 415, 415. So if this is 2 times this plus 2 times n, because this is how big the answer can be, then it's infinity. Because, you know, after almost the full track you can get big value, then after the next almost full, like, you know, circle, you can get a small value. So for a sequence like 1 1 1 1 1 100, the answer for this first guy would be around 2 times n. Okay, this now first maybe with brute force I will implement that. During the contest I would just use segment tree or something like that. But first I want to like show you the idea with easier implementation. So what? This a of start might be a big number. So for int I is start plus 1, I up to answer of start plus I. If a of I is smaller than a of start over 2, but with some good rounding, answer of start is I break. And I will need to speed this up because now the complexity is quadratic in total. Now this shouldn't be just that because we use no rounding. So for even it will be good. For let's say 15, this is 7, and I want to round this up. And now it's equivalent to comparing with no rounding. Here answer of n minus 1 is minus 1 plus 2 times n. This can be just smaller. So this is like first bet for this start. First, that is too small. For I, that is n minus 1 plus 1. I up to answer of n minus 1 plus I. If I is smaller than a of n minus 1 plus 1 over 2. This should be maybe a function because I have that so similar, but it's only twice. Answer of n minus 1 is I break. That should work right now. I will save all the files, all the samples, into, and in 3. Okay, this is D. 1143, this is not correct. And this is not correct either. Even the last number was bad. That's suspicious. For 4, maybe this is incorrect. For 11, this is smaller than 6. No, for 7. Oh, that is not enough. We need to keep the prefix maximum. So this shouldn't be that. This should be pref max. Pref max is a of n minus 1. Pref max is max of itself and a of I. I did so much YouTube today that I'm worried that my throat will be sore tomorrow. I recorded a randomized algorithms lecture, then Kickstart, Leetcode, in both I did some talking, and now this stream. So I will now go on for the whole evening. Okay, this is correct, and now this part is quadratic. So I need to quickly find the first number that is smaller than this. Can I do something easier than a segment tree? Maybe a stack? I think some monotonic queue or mono queue is possible here to get linear complexity. Mono queue or monotonic queue. There is a thing like that moves with a window and keeps with a track, with a stack or a kind of a queue. It keeps track of decreasing numbers like prefix maximum, something like that. But I will just use a hammer when I see a nail, so a segment tree. This one, well, B is smaller than what, A size, B times equal to, this is the base that is a power of 2, the base of a segment tree. For every number, put that in as a leaf. This is prefix of what I'm looking for. The first number that is very small, so minimum. Three of I is min of 3 of 2 times I, 3 of 2 times I plus 1. This is segment tree of minimum. And here I is b plus start. I want in a segment tree. So there is a segment tree. Maybe what should I do optimally now to explain that to you? I can open a new window. Move that down or not. Maybe this is not the best thing. Do I have Notepad? Get it? Not. I don't have get it. Do I have some password here? Get it is basically Notepad for Linux. I'm just working on my optimal workflow for these streams. Bear with me. Did you get a job offer from Google? Did you accept it? No, I didn't have an interview with Google, but they do want to interview people that are good in competitive programming. In particular, when you are in Google Code Finals, you can be interviewed. No, coding interview is about algorithms, like at least for internship or some low-level position. Maybe I wouldn't be accepted. I guess I wouldn't be accepted as some, how is it called? A senior engineer, just because I don't have big experience leading the team. Okay, so now do we have get it? Yes, we do. So I can use that. Can I maximize it in some way? Maybe Paint is better. I cannot increase it. Okay, it's very buggy. It behaves strangely. I can only decrease it, not increase it. Okay. Oh, what about this? Nope. So what is the easiest thing for me to do? To open a new thing that would be empty, black or white, whatever, and on the side. Paint. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so again, sorry for troubles. But this is ugly, so I actually prefer to draw with this software. You know, in a segment tree, you can easily find the next number smaller than something. And what you should do is, let's say you start here, you go up, and you see if this other child of the same parent, if its minimum is smaller than what you aim for. If let's say you want to find the first number smaller than 20, if here minimum is 15, then you start going down in this subtree and you go down. If this is, let's say, 23, then you keep going up. So that's what I need to do. It was D. Starting from here, well, I greater equal to, if this is the left child and 3 of I plus 1 smaller than answer of start, I plus plus, and now go down, this is that other child, well, I smaller than B, well, this is not a leaf. If 3 of 2 times I, left child, if it already is smaller, I is 2 times I, else I is 2 times I plus 1, the right child, break, not break here. And after you found it, here I guess we need to say answer of start is minimum of answer of start, and this I minus B. This is the position of that found number that is smaller than this. Now D run on in. Okay, I messed something up. This is infinite loop. If this, then that, otherwise go to the parent, obviously. To 132, this doesn't look correct. Or is it? Now I can make this invisible. Cool. So no, this wasn't correct. Oh, I don't compare with that. I compare with this. Value is this. If smaller than value, smaller than value. Five, 4, 3, 6 works. Cool. D. And we can all get discouraged to practice if we see how fast people were with those ABCD, I guess. Radeusz solved them in 21 minutes. It took me now, what, almost 50 minutes, of course with explanation, but on the other hand, I already saw C. Plus, I wasn't sure about the correctness. Then, if people took around 20 minutes on E, I think it's already too hard for me to solve during the stream. Plus, as I said, my throat is not really in a very good condition. But we can try, I guess. I will at least read E. I need a CSGO cheat. I remember, maybe I already told that story in one of streams, but when I studied economics for a moment, one guy in my class saw that I had a laptop and I did some coding. He saw a terminal with white font that basically, maybe I had Genie open or just full screen terminal, and he was sure that I was hacking. And then he also wanted to ask me to, I don't know, break into some Facebook account or whatever. I told him that, no, this is coding, not hacking. And he said that he, honestly, he seriously said that, yeah, this is exactly what a hacker would say. Why Codeforces problems are not good for the preparation for coding interviews? Why just lifting weights isn't the best to be a good marathon runner? It's a different thing. Codeforces problems use different topics. They are made to practice competitive programming. Keep on doing this code jam editorials, really helpful. Thanks. FAQ. If all you have is a hammer, everything looks like an L. Exactly. Why would I think about some other tool if I know that with a segment tree I can easily do it without thinking? I didn't need that drawing. And every time I will need something like this, I will use my hammer. That is a segment tree. Guys, read frequently asked questions in the description, then ask questions. Because I don't want to waste a lot of time during the stream. It's not good. E. Oh, I saw some comments. I saw a comment, is E FFT problem? I guess because of this modulo. This modulo is made for entity. It's FFT modulo some special prime number. Okay, binary search tree is a rooted binary tree. Whose nodes each store a key and each have at most 2 distinguished subtrees, left and right. This key is greater than any key stored in the left, less than on the right, okay. Depth is number of edges on a simple path to the root. Depth of root is 0. Perfectly balanced if we minimize the sum of depths of its vertices. So I will guess that it means every leaf is on the same depth, except for maybe the last layers. So I would guess that this tree will roughly look like this. Oh, I don't need that. I guess this is, for example, this balanced tree. Let's call a binary search tree with integer keys stripped if both of the following conditions are satisfied for every vertex. If V has a left subtree whose root is U, so U is child, then the parity of the key of V is different from the parity of the key of U. Okay, so different from left, let's say this is 5, on the left we have something smaller, this will be 2, here we have bigger and same parity, like 23. You're given a single integer n, find the number of perfectly balanced stripped binary search trees with n vertices that have distinct integer keys between 1 and n. Oh, this doesn't look like FFT if n is up to 100, n is up to million. Usually n is smaller. But my FFT implementation is quite fast, so maybe. Nope. Back, move here. Can I increase this? I guess not. Perfectly balanced, stripped, binary search tree. Oh, now I saw a problem tag on the right. That's a spoiler. So there is FFT here. Well, if I iterate over what is there in the root, let's say, like we have some numbers, say from 1 to 10. If in the root I have 5, then what? Here I want to have I want to have a tree of size, let's say that things are from 1 to 20. Then here I have 15 numbers. The root must be odd, let's say odd. Then the left subtree has numbers from 1 to 4, so 4 numbers, and the root is even because it should have different parity. And I can multiply this number of ways. So this indeed looks like FFT. If you multiply some A of 4 times B of 15 plus A of, say, 6 times B of 13 and so on, this is a convolution of two polynomials. Okay, but I think this would lead to, okay, but not entirely. So that would take care of being binary search tree and stripped, but not perfectly balanced. Now I would need to understand what perfectly balanced means. Maybe the size of left and right subtrees must be very, very similar, or maybe not. I cannot put 5 vertices to the left and 50 to the right. I guess what I should do is try to try to draw some trees like that and understand what they can be. Isn't this similar to AVL trees? Like whatever, this is a binary search tree, something else. Size of left and right subtree differ by at most 1. Is it enough? If I have something like this, is this perfectly balanced? I guess we cannot get better sum of depths. So now it's the time to think rather than to code some easy problems. Okay, I would say that we can figure out what will be depths. And to some level, everything will be full. And then we can, in whatever way we want, we can distribute those leaves. They can be on the left, on the right. Yeah, it makes sense. But if that's FFT, if we should take a big sum over those products, I think it will be n-log square. We need some divide and conquer and then FFT, and that will be too slow. Hello, 3284. So I think they can differ by up to the power of 2. So yeah, like here they differ by 4. And for bigger tree, it will indeed be up to some power of 2. The size here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus. And here we have n equal 11. And yep, for that this is some kind of convolution where it's some one array. Yeah, also we need to consider what is the parity of this thing. So it will be kind of dp of n and 2. In how many ways we can construct a tree of size n where the root is of this parity, and then we will convolute. It will be convolution in some way of left and right. Maybe it won't be log square because of what this does. Okay, I have an idea. Because in this big convolution on a sequence itself can be done in log square, but here it's not. It might help us that it's perfectly balanced, and if yes, then it's a very, very nice problem. But I need a bigger thing for drawings. One moment. Okay, I need to open something. One moment. I'm preparing, like I am opening OneNote and I don't want to show something by mistake. Here we go. Okay, you should see a black screen. Not template, this is problem E. What was the name? Balanced binary search trees. Okay, dp of n and let's say 0 is the sum over dp of, say, a, maybe I, 0 times dp of n minus I minus 1, 1. So this is different parity. For 1 it will be the same. Yeah. Like for if I replace that with 1, it's the same. So I can remove this and can just say that. At the end I will print 2 times dp of n. Or not. Oh, no. 0 means that 0 means, let's say, that the root is even, and then this thing on the left needed to have a different parity. So 0 meant also it defines parity of this. If there is 4 here, or maybe also parity of n matters. Oh. If yes, then it's a bit ugly. Because when you start with vertices from 1 to n, and then tell the right part to handle vertices from root plus 1 to n, then I think it might be important what is the parity of r and n. I'm not sure, but it is possible. Because I here is the number of things on the left. And this 0 means that the root is even. I will write this down. Root even. And then let's say if vertices are from 1 to n, then the root is even, for example 4. It means that the number of things on the left is odd. So this is odd. No, this should be 1, because this is left and left is different. This should be odd, assuming that vertices are from 1 to n, and then here we have 0. I don't speak Russian. I can read Russian. Give some strategy to get good rank in Kickstart. Practice. You should practice problems and be better in algorithms. So yeah, get good. Okay, but regarding this balanced thing, for n11 we figured that it will be like division into 8 and 2. No, this is 1 to 7, and for 11 we can do 7 versus 3. This is fine. 6 versus 4, and so on. And 3 versus 7. So numbers from 3 to 7 seem to create something. What about n equal to 12? For n12 there is one more thing here, what will mean that we can combine 4 with 7, 5 with 6, 6 with 5, 7 with 4. Then one more is very similar, and so on. and eventually it will be just 7, 7. What if we have only one? What if there's nothing here? Then it is only 3 and 4. Okay, so for n equal to 7, then it must be 3 on the left and 3 on the right. N is 8, it is 3, 4, or 4, 3. And 9, 3, 5, 4, 4, 5, 3, and so on. 11 has a lot of possibilities, as we wrote here, and eventually n15 has just 7, 7. And I think that all of those use dp of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I should treat that as one batch of numbers that I should know. I compute the convolution of them, and I use that to compute dp of from 7 to maybe let's say that. So here is that, then 1, 2, yeah, that's fine. Using this, I will compute from 7. Okay, from 7 to 15, maybe a different, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will say that those are layers of value of n. And using those values, I want to compute the next layer by just one convolution. That is k log k, where k is the size of this layer. In total, it will be just n log n, because every next layer is twice bigger. But I wonder if I need the parity of n and parity of the first vertex. Like, the worst case for me is that it's dp of n root and also like the parity of smallest vertex mean, that is 0 or 1. If yes, then like, everything becomes ugly, but I don't know how to avoid it. Plus we need to be careful in FFT with those parities. But I like the problem. In ICPC it would be very cool, and I would take it in my team. Now I want to code it. I think I'm happy with what I have here, and I will code it tomorrow during a boring stream. By the way, subscribe to the second channel, Richter2, because there is a lot of cases here, and it might take me half an hour or more. I think there's easier solution if people solve it faster, because here I will have a lot of this. It will take me so much time. Leave fast, stop spamming in chat, please. Come on. Okay. How do I? Umnik is here. Okay, cool. Hi. How do I block somebody? I don't remember. I can't from this. Sorry guys, I'm learning streaming. I'm not logged in. Why? How is it possible? Oh. That's very strange. I was logged in. Okay, so let's do that. Nope. This. that. Sorry. Okay, so thanks to the fact that I was logged out, you don't have a block. Just stop spamming. Can you please also look at the D problem of previous div2? I'm now going through this tourists contest. I will think about it in a moment. So what now? Yeah, this will take me at least half an hour, so I'm not implementing that now, but I think I got the solution that works in nlogn, and with fast FFT it will work, or just with entity. And it's very nice. I always like when the problem seems to have an extra condition, but it actually speeds something up, or it allows us to do something. What is cool. So, Gennady, kudos for a nice problem. I will maybe just read the other problems. At least the next one, because the last two are very hard for sure. So I think I can solve this one. Also, I need to resubmit C here. Remember, after the stream ends, if you want, you can watch the Leetcode video that is uploaded already. And coming soon are randomized algorithms lecture and Kickstart video. Actually, I'm going to title that Winning the Kickstart round. When there will be lectures? When I edit it, maybe in 2 days. I don't want to post everything today. Today I had so busy day and I created like 4 entities, 1 lecture, 2 screencasts from contests, and now a stream. There are no resources on how to add a terminal point on Genie. Any help? In some versions of Genie it is there. I already showed what version I have. Also, it's sometimes called VTE. You can Google Genie VTE or Genie VTE missing. Do you have a video for beginners where you speak about resources to learn? Not yet, but I have FAQ and there is a how to practice section. What is better for preparation for coding interviews? I might already answer that in some FAQ. Do some Leetcode, go through algorithms or data structures course online. There is, for example, Algo Expert that use code Erichto, by the way, if you want to buy it. You should use some course that is designed specifically for coding interviews, not for CP, not for competitive programming. That's for sure. Those are 2 different sets of topics. Okay, problem F, balanced domino placements. Consider a square grid with H rows and W columns with some dominoes on it. Each domino covers exactly 2 cells of the grid that share a common side. Every cell is covered by at most 1 domino, blah, blah. No row or no column contains a pair of cells covered by 2 different dominoes. No row contains a pair of cells covered by 2 different dominoes. So every row just has 1 domino. You're given a perfectly balanced placement, so without those 2 different dominoes in a row or column. Find the number of ways to place 0 or more extra dominoes on this grid to keep the placement perfectly balanced. And output modulo that. This is the input, and then we can add something here, there, and so on. Okay, well, the grid is a graph, a bipartite graph. So let's start with that. When I have something like that, I can say that there are vertices row 1, row 2, row 3, and columns C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. When there is a domino, the fact that cell is taken usually is an edge between row and column. Here we combine C2 is connected with row 1 and row 2. And it cannot be then connected to anything else. If there is something like that, it would be row 3 connect to C4 and C5. So in a general case, I think we just have a set of things, of those forks. Is that enough? Oh, and they don't have to be in order, they don't have to be monotonic. Something like this is allowed as well. Okay, I got some forks already in the input. I want to find the number of ways to finish that. Then so some intervals, let's say white is what was in the input, then this is removed because taken. And then we have intervals here of length 2, length 1, length 1, length 1, length 2. I assume that the blue thing is not yet there. And I want to find a number of ways to connect that. The easiest case, and I will start with that, is just an empty grid. That is, given this, find the number of possible connections. No super chat option here. I wanted to support you. I am fine with money. I don't need super chat or Patreon. I'm okay. Final stream, yep. I didn't have time for like a month, and then for a week I was sick. Now finally I have time and I'm healthy. Okay, how to solve it for an empty grid? Low constraints sometimes mean DP. I would like to try something like that. What about this? We decide about the fate of this vertex. Either it isn't used at all, then we use, if the number of things on the left is L and the number of things on the right is R, then we go to dp of L minus 1 R. Or it is used, maybe with its neighbor. It creates a fork with something here. And what then? Okay, I see polynomial solution. That would be, we can iterate how many of those can be connected with something here in the top, and how many of those can be iterated with, will be connected with something in the bottom. Okay, maybe that will be too big complexity. Let's think about it different way. Let's think which points will be used. So let's say that this will be used as type 2 because it will be connected to this guy. Then this guy with this one, and this one alone as type 1. Then something like that, alone, alone. If you iterate over the number of ones that you add and the number of twos that you add, it should be some binomial coefficient, how many things, how many ways for that you have on the left and on the right. Like, there L choose A ways to choose A different points. If there is some trick for that, if you want to say, oh, but this can't be taken if the previous one is taken as a 2, then it's something like minus A. L minus A, choose A is the number of ways to choose A pairs in L. Something similar will be for 1 as well. So I would say that it's A, comma B, so choose A elements and then B elements. Should work for choose A pairs and then B ones. And I would say that this solves an empty grid. I iterate over the number of, basically it means I iterate over the number of vertical dominoes and horizontal dominoes, and I then need to choose some number of rows and some number of columns, those for where 2 neighboring columns are taken or 1 neighboring row column is taken. It's some binomial coefficient, and the product of that is the answer. The complexity will be O of n squared. I need to iterate over the number of vertical and horizontal. Is Topcoder ABC good for beginners? Yes, it is. As I mentioned in FAQ, I'm sure. I think that Topcoder ABC is maybe the best thing for beginners out there. Participate in that for sure. Okay, so this looks for now as combinatorics, not as dynamic programming. Now, there are some forks already, and does it change something? If this is one of forbidden nodes, then I cannot take this pair. So this is some special vertex that could be marked as not able to be first in pair. Maybe we should do some dynamic programming in this order. What about this dynamic programming in this order? How many ways there are to choose this number of pairs? Yeah, looks good to me. This is I think I got the intended solution. I will do the same thing for rows and columns, and that is if let's say that some columns are already killed because they contain something, this one and maybe this one. Then over remaining rows I do dp over, let's say, I, the index of it, and the number of twos that are already, or pairs that are already taken. It's kind of like counting Fibonacci. Or let's say up to this I for some number of pairs already taken. How many ways, or in more general case, there is this sequence. Each element represents a column. Some are forbidden. And I want to choose some number of neighboring pairs that are disjoint. So it's a bit like dp of I x plus equal dp of I minus 2 up to this position, x minus 1, one fewer pair, because we are adding new pair here. We need to check if something is already removed. That will be it. After, so I do that for columns and also then separately for rows. So it will be dp col and dp row. I will have one function that I will maybe rotate the or mirror the input grid, not to repeat code, to just have one function. And then I need to combine something. Again, I will iterate over the number of vertical dominoes. like the number of vertical dominoes v and horizontal h. And I will know that if I need v vertical h horizontal dominoes, then I need this many pairs of columns. So I need the sum over dp col of n, the final thing, let's say that this is n, and h, times among the remaining col choose v, to choose columns for those vertical dominoes, times the same thing for rows. I will try to implement this. It is quadratic complexity. And after that, I will answer some more questions. And this will be the end of the stream. It should take maybe 20 minutes. And once again, I invite you to boring stream in Erichto 2 channel tomorrow. After this one, I will schedule the one tomorrow. It will be earlier for sure, because I don't have time in the evening. This is F. Need format of the input and G. In particular, tomorrow I'm going to implement E because it looks very time consuming. Modulo 998244353. Max is for me maximum n. And then what? I don't want to repeat the code. Finally, some harder problems. Can't wait to see POI problems solved by you in the future. I guess I will get back to that in Olympiad season. Like right now, people don't trade that much for Olympiad, right? There's only first stages happening. In a few months, I will again solve some problem from Polish Olympiad. Okay, maybe I don't need that. Those will be vectors. What do we have? Height and width of the grid, and then n the number of items already, dominoes already. For n times, read R1, C1, R2, C2. And C1 and R2 and C2. I want to work with coordinates from 0 to something, not from 1 to something, then decrease each of them by 1. And then how not to repeat stuff. Row killed of h, column killed of size w. Row killed of R1 is row killed of R2 is true. Same for columns. And is it enough? Do I need anything else? I don't think so. Then I need a function that will give me vector of int getDP given this killed. dp row is getDP of row killed. Call is getDP of call killed. And now this, given which things are forbidden, it should count dp of x should be the number of ways to choose x disjoint pairs of adjacent not killed positions. Yep. Can I have quadratic memory? I can. 4 times 4 is, yeah, I will not exceed 100 megabytes. So this will be a bit slower, but should be quite convenient. dp of n plus 1, n plus 1. At the end, I will just return dp of n. This will be the last row. At first, there is one way that I have nothing, which is dp of 0, 0, 1. And now, for position I, move from dp of I to dp of I plus 1. Does it make sense? More like compute dp of I plus 1. Okay. For every number of taken things. With modulo, it's very convenient to work with this function. I always recommend implementing that. Maybe even add it to your templates. Now it's easy to add two numbers. Add self. Maybe if I, not if I, add self dp of I plus 1x dp of ix. This means doing nothing. And if I is at least 1, add self dp of I plus 1x dp of I minus 1 x minus 1. This means adding a pair. Is that it? I think so. That's easy so far. Okay, I need binomial coefficients. Max hw plus 1, let's say. Compute binomial coefficients. Let's call it choose to make it easier to understand. Choose of I0 is choose of II is 1. And for everything in between, choose of ij is add of those two. You don't need factorials to compute binomial coefficients. I used function add. That can use function add self. This one just returns the sum of two numbers modulo. Okay, I think I have everything needed. Now, for the number of vertical things, up to vertical or up to horizontal width and height over 2, because each of them takes 2 spots, and horizontal the opposite. There is some answer. At the end I will print it. I will for sure need function mul for multiplication. In addition, in the sum I avoided using modulo operator because it's slow, but you cannot avoid it in multiplication. Okay, maybe I need first the count of vertical and horizontal already. Or like here, instead of width, it should be not killed. Actually, that might be a good idea. Let's try that for ball state in for is killed. Wait, This is killed. Oh, here I do not check for killed. This is a mistake. At doing nothing, and here and not killed of I and not killed of I minus 1. In row killed. If something is killed, h minus minus. No, h minus equal is killed. This is 1 if it's true. Is killed in call killed. W minus equal. Debug stuff after subtracting. Don't worry about my templates. Basically, they will show me the values of h and w. Does my solution compile? What's the hardest problem you have ever come across? In Petrozavod's camps or other ICPC camps, I saw a lot of very, very hard problems that I needed to spend around 10-15 hours solving, even after knowing a solution. There are some very big and ugly string problems that I saw my teammate solving for 20 hours. I was answering a question, what's the hardest problem you have ever come across, in case I haven't read the comment out loud. Okay, here, if I take this many vertical, add self. Maybe I can create some value TMP or ways, then add self answer ways. And here I have multiplication of a lot of things. DP for vertical things, they take 2 consecutive rows, DP row of V, comma, DP call of H, comma. Now some binomial coefficients maybe. Out of remaining W minus 2 times H from width. No. Yes, every horizontal takes 2 columns. There were W of them, now there are that many. Among those, I want to choose V for the single ones. And symmetrical thing. I'm saying that this all works with probability 5%. And here I want to say V. No, I didn't copy. Okay, the moment of truth. 8, that works. That works as well. And this one doesn't work. That's very, very bad. Maybe my modulo is bad or I have some overflow. But here I got correct answers. Is modulo okay? 998 244 353. Yes, it is okay. Damn it. Oh, also there is tag combinatorics. I should have, before solving those problems, I should have chosen in settings that I don't want to see tags, but fortunately I didn't look this up. Everything that I did in this problem was honest. In the previous one, I saw that it is FFT, but also it looked like convolution. Is here everything okay? What about DP? If 2 in a row not killed, then consider that. Okay. That can't be wrong in that last thing. Let's investigate this. If I got some out of boundary error, then what about this? Maybe I'm iterating. Okay, this is a very nice hack that is that allows us to test solutions nicely without writing separate brute force. Is the answer the same for 350 and for 530? Yes, it is. What about 1050 and 510? It is the same. So now this looks for typos, because likely I did, if I made some typo, this 178 is the end. Now the other way around, 42, 23, 0, 178, yes. This means that likely I don't have a typo. It's a mistake in logic, or like modulo overflows. A typo would likely be only, in one place. It wouldn't be symmetric. If my program prints the same answer for 1040 and 4010, then there is mistake in logic. A typo would affect one of those, and the two answers wouldn't be the same. That's a very useful trick. Remember about it. Maybe. What about some small tests, one by one? There's one way, 210, two ways, that's true. 120, 310. I think there are 3 ways. 410, 510. Yes, I agree with that. But what about 220? There are 4 possible placements for a single domino. I can't fit 2. And I can also put nothing there. 320. There are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 8 is not putting anything, 8. 420. There are 4 vertical, 1, 2, 6 horizontal, this is 10. I can put both like that or like that. This is 12 and 1 empty, 13. I think this should be 13, and if yes, then fortunately I have a counter test. Let's see. I want to draw all those. Nope. Okay, there is something like that times 4. There is something like that times 6, right? Yeah. There is something like this times 2, and there is also an empty grid. Okay. They found. I want to work with 240 because this is what I imagined. Now for 0 horizontal and vertical, there is 1 way. For 1 horizontal, 6 ways. For 2 horizontal, only 1 way, and this is incorrect, right? Because like that and like this. So this is a bad case, and I need to figure out what I do then. It's dp row of 0. It should be 2. dp row of 0. Wait a moment. Oh, I need to, when I choose, I think I understand the issue. When I choose some number of vertical things, then not only I need to choose which columns should be killed and which pairs of rows, but also I need to combine that. So I would say that I need also factorial of v and factorial of h. This is factorial. Factorial of 0 is 1, and of I is multiplication of the previous one and I. So I found a smaller test for which it doesn't work, and then analyzed what is missing and why the answer is 1, not 2. Like for that huge test, what should I do? Keep reading the problem. Okay, f on in 2 is out of bounds in 3. Oh, because it isn't saved. 1, and ladies and gentlemen, we want 1, 0, 2. F in 3, 1, 0, 2, 3, 5, 1. Okay, let's see how fast it is. In 4, 3600, 0. Time in 4, 200 milliseconds or so. Submit. So I liked F. I will just, judge the coolness of the set. A was very cool. B was fine. It was cool. But I think most people just did segment tree, so I like this one. C was hard to judge. D is fine, very standard. Cooler than not cooler. Then E is very annoying if I need to implement that FFT with so many details about parity, but the thinking part is very cool. So it was fine to come up with a solution, but it will not be fine to implement one. Tourist asks, will you make graph tutorials or some graph specific problems? I don't think that's real tourist asking here about graph tutorials. Yes, I will eventually do, but I don't like graphs or string algorithms, so I don't want to do that too much. In competitive programming, I have seen top programmers code, and they mostly use templates like you are using by copying it into every file. Why? Does it have any benefits? Yes, you don't need to rewrite stuff. My templates allow me to very nicely debug stuff, to print things. I'm a computer science student who is interested in learning C++. Do you have any good resources for learning C++ that you would recommend? No. I learned from Polish website, so it's accepted. I learned from Polish website, and you should just Google C++ tutorial and find something that looks fine. So I'm estimating that I wonder if during the contest I would try to implement that immediately. I would guess so. Well, it would be better for me to do order FE, just like Radeusz did, because it looks like a nightmare. What are my submersions? It took me 1:50 to do all of that. The contest was 2:30, so I would get A through F, I guess. Tomorrow we'll see if I can do it quickly, and maybe I would do that in 2 hours, but that wouldn't be very nice. In F, I got a solution quickly enough. In E, I guess only E is a problem for me here, like in terms of my performance, that I don't see a nice solution. I would spend a lot of time here. And GH, whatever, those are very hard. I'm not going to try them now. But here, well, Marek had time 50 minutes. I don't think I would beat that. So maybe top 20 would be there. Yeah, so it's now time for you to ask some questions if you want. I will answer some for the next maybe 15 minutes. I'm looking at my laptop on the site now. And then we'll see each other again tomorrow during stream on Erichto2 channel. What do you think about using JavaScript for solving problems? It's not made to solve problems in competitive programming. It's slow, for sure. But other than that, I don't know much about JavaScript. It's for scripts, not to solve algo problems. Can you tell me how rating is affected when we submit late? Read Codeforces rules. The later you submit a problem, the fewer points you had. It decreases linearly. What's your IQ? I don't know, and I guess it's very hard to measure intelligence. What can be measured is your ability to solve those puzzles that appear in IQ tests. Maybe in one of the streams I will take such a test, but don't worry about those too much. You can't just measure intelligence that easily. There are different types of intelligence as well. My competitive programming intelligence is around 2800 of Codeforces rating. I guess that's some number that came from 50 contests. What time is it there now? It's 9 p.m. You can Google Poland current time. It will tell you. Is there any material for beginner DP and basic graph? Yes, there is. There is a lot of things in the internet. You can Google tutorial dynamic programming, for example. I strongly recommend my series of lectures on dynamic programming. You can just go to my channel, and in videos you'll see free DP lectures. And there's also Topcoder DP beginner contest, something like that, 5-hour contest with 26 problems. But this is harder. Start with those lectures. And then you can Google tutorial DP. How much data structures and algo help solving problems? A lot. Are you consider yourself as a genius? As something very intelligent, yes. Which is better, reading or watching tutorials? I think that reading is superior. I think that written tutorials are superior, but they require more effort, and then they are indeed better. Because those can be, corrected. I can go through them again and again. I can prepare a YouTube video in 5 hours, and in 5 hours I can create a blog or post of similar quality. But I can also spend 50 hours on that post to keep polishing it, get feedback, and then apply it. So I would say that written things are superior, but also it's more boring to prepare them. YouTube is very interactive. Plus, there is a lot of written stuff, and this is why I try YouTube thing. Also, it helps me. People recognize me, plus I can practice my English. Are you Russian? No. And read frequently asked questions. I like simple algorithms. The one more demanding are just hard to figure out. You will get there if you practice enough. Any tips for preparing for ICPC? Solve ICPC problems. What is the best online judge in your opinion? Topcoder and Codeforces. Graphs is important for coding interviews. Not so much, but yeah. They are needed, but not important. Is there something to decrease time complexity automatically? No. What resources do you suggest in order to practice and becoming so good like you? Solve problems. Can you do after the contest ends? So you're talking about what? Oh, this round. Oh, there will be Division 1 round. What is the time? I will do the same thing as I did today, maybe? I will record myself without talking, and then if I do well, I will upload that to YouTube with commentary. So just after this contest would be a nice moment to stream. Let me take a look at my calendar on the side. If you don't know, I have a monitor here, another monitor here, and on the right I have a laptop. Yeah, that would work. I think I will make a 2-hour stream just after Codeforces round. I will talk about Codeforces a little bit. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So tomorrow, just after Codeforces round, head to Erich2 channel. I will schedule the stream today. So I will post the link in Codeforces already today, I guess. Did you use object-oriented sometime at some point? Yes. Your favorite technique is dynamic programming. Yes, I like dynamic programming. Can you recommend please resources for CP Math? No, I don't know what are good resources. How did you train? I solve problems. Tips for National Olympiad. Solve problems. Will you make tutorials on graphs? Yes, I will make tutorials on a lot of things. Just starting. Read my frequently asked questions and how to practice. Live stream again tomorrow. Practice. 8 hours a day at least, I try. I try to sleep at least 8 hours a day. I didn't today because I had a beer with friend yesterday in the evening. I got back home late. But generally, if you don't sleep well in the long run, you will not perform better in whatever. You will not be physically fit. You will not think well. So I try to sleep a lot. How many hours should someone practice on a day? As many as you want. The more you practice, the better, faster you will be. STL, I'm not an expert in C++. Hello, the tech egg. I remember you from some old streams. Do some code gems. Do some code gem previous year's problems. Yeah, sometimes I will do, but this year stuff is better, more current. I think in the future, maybe the next year, I will sometimes make like a week with code gem where I would upsolve a lot of past problems. Yeah, but not in this year, not before January. How can we master DP? Solve problems. How many problems should I solve in order to get a positive rating? You can solve 0 problems and you will have a positive rating in Codeforces. Don't worry about rating. Just practice and you will be better. How can I prove? Solve problems. This or that. I don't know A2 online judge well, but Topcoder is cool. I recommend Topcoder. I will now keep skipping questions that are in frequently asked questions. Do a home tour? Maybe one day. Compiler flag, I think it is somewhere in GitHub. If not, I will soon add it there. Do you think C++ is a wordy language and easy to forget how to implement things? Hard to say. For me, C++ is very intuitive already because I coded so much in it. I know C++ 10 times better than the next language. That would be maybe Python or Java. Maybe 100 times better. Still, I don't know some details, technical details. I barely know smart pointers, but everything that is useful in competitive programming, I do know well. And just like I can think in Polish very efficiently in my head, I can type in C++ very quickly without thinking. How to avoid fear of solving and understanding difficult problems? Solve problems so that you would be better in and faster in solving difficult problems. I don't plan on retiring competitive programming so far because I like it a lot, what I do without it. Need tutorial for STL? Google it. no, a book isn't enough to become candidate master. You need to solve problems. Alien strict tutorial be a good idea. Didn't I do it already? If not, I will do it. Could you tell us your 3 favorite computer science related books? I don't know. No, I would need to think a lot. I don't have good books that are on my level. Oh, Looking for a Challenge. This is a cool book for experienced people. How many hours did you code when you were a beginner? When I was in school, I was able to spend on average maybe 15 hours a week on programming. Do you get tired by beginners asking questions like what resources, yada, yada, yada? Yes. Where can I find the FAQ? Where would you look for that? In the description, below the video. Or maybe I'm stupid here and there is nothing like that under stream, but I think stream also has description, right? Yes, like it's the description isn't like, by the way, I shortened the description recently, removed stuff about me, just subscribe for more educational videos on that, and that's it. Still in my about section, there is that longer description that I used to have everywhere. Maybe I should add it because it adds to YouTube algorithm. YouTube algorithm goes through the video description and uses it. Advanced geometry tutorials. Yes, I can, but this is not very common. Some people do not use it. Do you have a girlfriend? And if you don't, are you looking for one? Yes and no. You were gone for a long time. Can you briefly talk about your plans? Tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a boring stream where I will see what I have in my GitHub wiki. I will make some plans. But yeah, I thought about a lot of things. I have some plans. And yeah, I'm very happy about what happened today, where, for example, I recorded Kickstart contest and I won. That is very cool. Tomorrow, tune into that 1 p.m. stream. Well, my 1 p.m. after Codeforces contest stream, and I will talk more about my plans maybe. In how much time can I get expert candidate master as beginner? I don't know, half a year. Depends on your talent, skills in math, amount of time you practice, but I assume that it's 1 year. Maintaining concentration during long contest. What do you mean by long? 24 hours? Well, then it's hard. If you mean 5 hours practice, and if you like it, if you enjoy it and want to solve hard problems, you don't need tips on maintaining concentration. But maybe it will help to, make a break once every 2 hours, stretch, not think about a contest for 1 minute, so that you would kind of refresh your mind. Age limit to competitive programming? No. I mean, if you are 5-year-old, it will be hard for you. So there is maybe bottom age limit, but nothing strict. How to pronounce your name? Kamil Dębowski. Why does Gennady not have a YouTube channel? Why would he have one? Well, having a YouTube channel requires a lot of time. So it's like, why don't you play football? It's one thing that one should like it, and it should be more important than other things in your life. It's about priorities. When I do this YouTube thing, for the past month I almost didn't. When I do it, it takes a lot of time. Today, my whole Saturday, plus some planning of videos yesterday, because yesterday in the evening I planned the randomized algorithm lecture. It took me my whole Saturday, plus part of Friday. That's, that hurts. I could do other stuff also related to programming. But, well, I did some contests today. I'm glad about it. What's the difference in levels between these? What sets them apart? Skills, practice, experience. How could I answer this? The stream on Kickstart rounds, not as a stream. I sometimes will record a video. Past Kickstart rounds also are possible, but it's not a priority for me. Debugging, I think I already did that. Plus, when I do live coding streams, I give tips as I go. Tougher questions on YouTube after any Division 1 or 2 contest or Codeforces gets over, please. You know, the thing with tougher questions is that 90% of people do not know required knowledge for that. So it's very hard to talk about them, because should I aim that only for those that will indeed understand it? If yes, what will they gain? Should I try to explain the basics? If yes, it will take me 2 hours to solve one problem. There are some trade-offs, and I try to sometimes do tougher problems. Computer science, I'm, let's say, algorithms teacher. In less time, practice problems fast. I'm not going to now solve some problem given in a question. A lot of questions here are in frequently asked questions. This is also answered in how to practice. Names don't have a meaning in my native language. They are just, you know, a bunch of characters. They have some meaning from other languages. Like this one is, I don't know, either Turkish or Italian, from Rome, Romanian. How do you say that? From ancient Rome. But whatever, I don't care about it. Is Python good for competitive programming? Was asked around 1,000 times. How many hours a day? Code? On average, maybe 4 hours. But to do something related to programming, I think less than 4 hours actually. But something related to programming, more than 8 hours a day. It is not crazy to apply for a software engineering internship if you are good in algorithms, because then likely you will pass a coding interview. Do you think competitive programming can become a sport? It's kind of like a, you know, less colorful esport. Apart from CP, do you do some software development? No, I don't. How can I meet you? I don't know. Advance to some on-sites like Google Code Jam. Then we'll meet. So that sounds like a good moment to finish the stream. So what reminders are, of course, like the video, if you liked it. Tune in tomorrow for Erichta 2 stream. I will likely participate in Codeforces round as well. I will upload soon Kickstart round, maybe not today. And yeah. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter if you want some reminders about future streams and videos. In both, the name is Erichta, same as here. That's it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked the stream, and see you next time. Bye.